Welcome, Aztec Nation, to another Sons of Montezuma podcast. The Aztecs overtake Nevada 69-50. I got the guys waiting in the waiting room to join us. Of course, Mike was there, and we're going to hear everything about this game. Stick with us in just a moment.
Got the last few years between the Aztecs and the full pack, and a three early for B.J. Davis. There's a three from DeCorville. Second made three. Into the corner, Ferrari's going to fire again. This time he makes it. That is just the ninth made three on the season. Bird, steal, and dunk. Holman drops it off. Davidson blocked by Guad. And now Heidi, that's a block shot. Heidi meets Himes for the block. That's rejected, but Davidson there to pick it up. Lost the handle. Bird gets another steal, and now Bird and Boyd. Boyd finishes with the left. Aztecs on the run, double-digit lead. The 6-foot Rollison on him, so even inside, Guad with the dunk. Bird finds the mouse in the house, and Guad finishes it off. Nevada is 0 for 7 from 3. Run out dunk. All Aztecs now in Reno. Timeout, Steve Olford. Sanders. Guad gets another block. 11 points, 4 rebounds, career high. 8 assists, make it 9 as Bird lobs it to Compton. 9 assists. A dominant 19-point win by San Diego State on the road.
Welcome, everybody. Sons of Montezuma podcast. That is who we are. Want to make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button before you do anything. We got the guys. Let's bring them in. What's going on? Hey, you cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him, everybody. Let's welcome, well, Fiend. Fiend, good to see you. How are you doing?
Good, man. Excited about that win last night. What a dominating performance.
Dominating indeed. He went from East County to East Tahoe. Let's put him in the middle because he is the man of the episode. Of course, you guys all know. Michael Tortolot. And we all want to be like Mike. What's going on, Mike?
What's up, guys? Welcome to be back. I think I contain Fiend pretty good, to be honest with you. Let's just be honest, right? Can't stop him. You can hope to contain him. I contain him pretty good. So, no, good to be back after a couple of days off. Missed you guys, but yeah, we had a good performance last night. It was fun in the snow up here.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer we didn't get to have you preview the team. Of course, Reno, Nevada. That's who the Aztecs took down in your backyard, dude. So, man, we were there last year. I wish we could have been there with you last night at the game. What a dominating victory, as Fiend said. It was. I had trouble. How do you say naming this episode? I wanted to say from desperation to domination because this week was a good week for the Aztecs, but just two very different games. Of course, we talked about Air Force, me and Fiend, in our last episode, and the crazy buzzer beater that it was. And then you get to this game against Reno, and I'll be honest with you, I wasn't expecting a great performance. I wasn't expecting this. And the game, I mean, it was a game of kind of it was a little ugly in that first half, right? But before we get into everything, 69-50, Mike, the floor is yours. You got to go there and sit courtside, all that good stuff. So tell us about this game because it was very different than last year.
Yeah, man. I mean, first time we won in the last couple of years there, so it was good to get a victory.
Yeah.
They came out when BJ hit that three right in front of us. I was sitting right there. I was like, okay. And then they came out. I said before the game, I said, if they come out slow, they're going to have a hard time coming back in the altitude with the snow. The snow tends to make it a little bit harder to breathe, from what I understand. I don't know how that works inside or what, but I was like, let's just get a good start, and then let's not try and play too much catch up. And they did, and then they scored 5 points, then scored for 7.5 minutes, and then they took off running. So the defense was unbelievable. I mean, I think that was the first time that UNR shot that low since like 2012 or something like that. It's been a long
Mm.
time. So, I don't know. I don't follow UNR that much at all. I see them here and there, but they have some older guys. Like their average years of experience is 3.1 years. So they're very, I think, top 10 in um, age, but they just don't have any leadership. They don't have anybody like Trey Coleman. I really like Trey Coleman's game, but if he stepped up and became a leader, I think that team would be different. But they just don't have anybody. They don't have like a Boyd or a Miles, you know what I mean? That just come out and take charge. So I'm really happy to send Cody back with a loss, and Connor, unfortunately. But he was just over here for dinner. So, but it was
Let's
great,
show
man.
let's show the folks. You sent us this video. Look at this snow, man. I wanted to share with everybody because a lot of times you don't understand the environment that the team goes through, and there's a Wolfpack fan in the video, dude. What's going on
That's Cody.
there?
So, but it's been like 50s like the last month here. It's been cold,
Yeah.
really, really cold in the morning, but it's been nice. That's the first day it snowed, I think, since like right around Thanksgiving. So it's been a
Wow.
pretty mild, but the fact that it snowed there was kind of cool, to see that. But I mean, hey, you got the dub, 2 road wins at altitude. Solid week, solid week.
Big, big.
Jump in there, Fiend. I mean, this was a little bit of an ugly game, but I agree with Mike. Like, it was great to see BJ jump out. Once he hit that first three, I was like, okay, we're on the board. Like, we're not, if that was a home game, we'd be clapping and clapping and clapping and clapping. But it's like they were aggressive. But exactly what we were talking about, Fiend, the shot selection, right? And then it seemed like in that first half, especially to start the game, I mean, dudes were shooting threes. They were hitting them a little bit. So, okay. But yeah, give us your thoughts, your opinion on this,
Well, I mean,
especially the
yeah,
first half.
I agree. I mean, great first start. To start the game with BJ Davis and then JCJ with that reverse layup was really nice. We were up 5-0, and it's nice to get some breathing room a little bit on the road. And then they kind of went into a dry spell there. A lot of turnovers. I thought they were doing a pretty good job moving the ball in this game. Some of the bigger guys, like I think Compton really kind of had a hard time holding on to the ball. He had a couple turnovers there. But I really liked what they were doing, slipping to the basket and, getting it to the big guys. And, but they went through that, that there was a period there for, I don't know, it was like almost 8 minutes where they didn't score a basket, and they had so many turnovers and just a lot of threes that kind of rimmed in and out, but most of the shots were threes. And so that's where Nevada was able to turn it, and they were able to go ahead. And then they brought in Kimo Ferrari, and for whatever reason, Kimo comes in and we go on a run. Right? He went like I think he was +9 and plus minus department. He hit a three. I don't think he really did anything other like crazy special. It's just that we're hitting shots. Maybe that's just the luck of being in there when they make those shots. But great defensive effort in the first half. I mean, they really struggled from three. I felt like they took way too many threes. And they didn't pound it inside. We were definitely the more physical team. We came out and punched them good, I think, in that first half, and really impressive. We were up 7, and so yeah, first half was solid. I mean, I agree with you, man. I did not expect this. I was really nervous about this game based on what we have been doing the past couple of games, and we felt like this was a step up in competition. Against UNR, because they've got pretty good predictive metrics, but they just have been losing a lot of close games in the Mountain West. So, yeah, very, very pleasantly surprised with this Aztec team.
Yeah. I mean, by 19 on the road is at your second altitude game after going to Air Force, coming back that night, practicing, coming up here, playing there. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge win. And you have to wonder how much of effect of that Air Force scare put the sense of urgency into them, because just the whole team looked good. And by the way, if you haven't sat like that close, you can sit wherever you want in the arena, but if you haven't sat that close to that on the court, it's a totally different game, man. I mean, the physicality, what they're talking about, all that stuff. It's totally different. Like, I've been around a lot of that stuff, but even sitting there, I've never sat that close in a basketball game before. Different. It's just different. So, but I mean, hey man, they played well. Xavier Dussel, with apparently every team he's been on in the Mountain West, all 17 of them, plays well against us. So you can't stop him, but they stopped everybody else. So 19 points on the road is a great victory. They looked loose. They looked like they're having fun. And now we have to come home and 2 at home before a bye week. If you can get those 2 to get 8-3, man, I don't think 3 losses in the conference is going to win the outright tournament. I think 4 or 5 is the number. You know what I mean? So if we can get in that 3 or 4 number, if we win out, we're going to win the conference. If we lose 1 or 2, we're going to be in discussion, and that's all you want to be at the end of the day. So take care of business right now.
I mean, just generally looking at the box score here, I guess the theme of the episode I put on there was learning to fly, and like you said, man, 19-point victory. That's a great win on the road. I think the altitude helps. Maybe a second game, right? They always say altitude, the longer you're there, you kind of get adapted to it a little bit. So maybe that helped a little bit mentally or physically as well. But Magoon 15 points, Taj with 14 points, Miles Bird kind of caught on a little late with 11. But you look at the numbers, the percentages, I mean, they're not like overwhelmingly when you look at the general ones comparing the two teams, but obviously we hit a lot more field goals. One thing we were talking about a lot last week was the free throws, and we only went to the line 8 times, which is wild. And we were still so dominant. So, some interesting little tidbits there when you look at the numbers, but I think I don't know what it was. We were celebrating after this game, like way more than we probably should have. I'll be honest with you. And I think just coming off of that Air Force game, like you said, it was such a desperate situation that it could have been really bad coming into this game. But you get bailed out, right? You kind of have this awesome shot from McKinney, and you come in here with a renewed sense of purpose, I think, of like focus. Okay, this is the goal, just one game at a time, like you always say, Mike. And it was good to see these young guys like Magoon kind of right his ship a little bit. Taj, of course, we appreciate his game a lot. So, being able to put up some of those key buckets, I think last game is helping. Bird, it's tough to kind of pinpoint this game, but boy, 9 assists. It was a clinic in that regards. I mean, all the lobs and the alley oops and stuff. That had to be so exciting for you, dude, down there on the court. Like, you talk about that perspective, like seeing those assists and the playmaking. This was one of those games where, like I said, we were celebrating like way too much. I don't know why, but it was good to see this game.
You listen, man. You guys got a dub. You were hanging out with your boys at the bar. You had fun, man. Like, you know what I mean? Those sometimes nights get away from you, and those are the best nights sometimes. I'm sure it'll happen to us in Colorado again, like it did in New Mexico, right? I'm just kidding.
Woo.
But no, that's a fun night, man. Sometimes you just gotta hang out with the boys, get a dub on a Saturday, and just see what happens.
It's for me, it's like one of the best wins that we've had this year. I mean, if you look at the second half efficiency stats on offense, we were 148.9 offensive rating, which is outrageous. I think that's only second to like when we played second half against Houston. I mean, you're right. The alley-oops, slipping Guath off of those pin down screens to the basket. He got several dunks and easy, passes in there and easy buckets, slipping Farrell Compton to the basket, Heidi running the floor, getting a dunk. That is, I think, the most point paints that we've had, or points at the rim that we've had. I want to say this entire season. I don't think we took any shots, maybe 1 or 2 in the paint or mid-range twos in the second half. And that if you're a good team, if you watched a really good elite offensive teams in this game, that's what they do. It's either at the rim or it's a 3-point shot. And the fact that we were finding the guys both Boyd and Bird, fantastic at facilitating and getting these young guys involved, and that's just going to grow their confidence. It's going to grow their confidence on the offensive end, on the defensive end. And what can you say about Guath? I mean, all the rebounds that he had, just the impact on this game. It was very much like that game that he had against Fresno State. Now, will we see the consistency out of him? Who knows, but this was a big step forward for him. I didn't know he hadn't hit like a 3-pointer in like 8 games. That's a crazy stat. But so he knocked down some threes. I mean, great blocks, rebounds, and then slipping him to the basket. We need to do way more of that. If we play like that the rest of the way, if we can have some semblance of that type of offense combined with our defense, we're going to be very difficult to beat in the Mountain West.
Magoon, that physical presence, 13 rebounds, like you mentioned, 2 blocks, 2 big blocks. I mean, those were emphatic, right? And Miles Heide also had a 1 block. He should have got credit for 2. I think they called a foul on one of them. And we had the whole place, like I tweeted out there, man, we had the whole place chanting out, Heide, Heide. It was just an attitude, an energy that was kind of just dictating this game, the energy that everybody came out to play with. It was just it was exciting, that intensity, like Dummy Fire says, 619, that intensity hasn't seen in a while. So yeah, man, it's exciting. This week coming up, we got San Jose State, Wyoming, both at home. And if we look at the standings, as we usually like to do, little no, I don't want to say separation, but sitting there at 6-3 above Boise and UNLV is good. Now we got San Jose and Wyoming, like I said, who are a little towards the bottom in the standings. So you got a real opportunity at home, like Mike said, kind of extend this win streak as much as you can, work on some more things at home, get the crowd into it. Students should be back. So opportunity to build up some real momentum before heading to Fort Collins, man.
That game is looking bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Like
let's talk about it. Colorado State.
If we were to beat San Jose State and Wyoming this week, right, we get to 8-3 with a week off between games. Colorado State has Air Force in New Mexico. So at New Mexico. So we're going to venture to guess that they go, who knows, man. Say they go 1-1, then they're 8-3 and we're 8-3. And if we beat them again, then we get the tiebreaker. Now we got to take care of business San Jose State, right? They're sneaky. Wyoming looks like they're sneaky. But I think the other thing, like you guys said, it was the intensity and how we dictated that game against UNR, right? Mm-hmm. We dictated the game to them more than we allowed them to dictate to us, and then we just overpowered them.
We were more physical.
More. Dude, I can't. The physicality. I mean, bro, it was unbelievable. I mean, it was crazy. But if we just play like that, then I'm gonna throw this out here. Right? You don't have to use this now, or we can talk about it later. But Reese didn't look like he was limping at all, at least what I saw. So I'm glad he's doing better. But when does that equation get solved one way or the other for us? Right? If we go 8-3, does he say, "Hey, I want to come back and help this team and see what we can do"? Because we have something here. I would be shocked if he comes back for another year, regardless. I'm not saying I know or I have any idea, but I think he probably would like to go. But so it's like, does that factor into it? If he's like, "Hey, I know I'm coming back," because then he can't come back after that. So that's going to be an interesting wrinkle if it happens.
I think I think you got to prepare for him not coming back.
Yeah,
and then that
if he does,
and if he does, that's great. But I think as a team, you just got to prepare for him not coming back. And what's interesting, and I don't give this team enough credit. I know I've been, critical on, some of the numbers and stuff, and then just the play. And we all have, everyone's been guilty of that, especially when you lose against UNLV at home. And and you almost lose against Air Force on the road. But Reese Waters was the only Aztec on the first team preseason Mountain West Conference team. We didn't have any other Aztecs. Now you could probably swap him for Miles Bird now, but at the time we didn't, know really even what we had out of Miles Bird, right? And you look at the other players in the conference that were on that team, almost all of them are having major impacts for their team. Didon Thomas, Ian Martinez, Denton, Nelly Jr. Joseph at New Mexico, Neat Clifford at Colorado State, Cardenas. There's a couple of guys, maybe Stanley's, not performing up to expectations. Nick Davidson, he was, he's their big guy for Nevada, and we pretty much shut him down in this game. I mean, his stat line was horrible, and it was awesome to see the work that guys like Miles Heide and JCJ, did on him. But I think we really got to take a step back and give these guys credit, because no one in the media gave these guys a shot at the beginning of the year. And then when Reese was out, then it was okay. Now who's going to step up? Right now, what? So the fact that we are where we are and getting the play that we are from these young guys and some transfers that we brought in, it's a testament to Dutch and his staff and the team, how hard they've worked, and you got to give them a lot of credit.
Absolutely. They don't make a bobblehead out of you if you're not doing something right. And developing players, that's what we do here at State. That's what we do.
And this, I agree with you 100%, dude. This is the first time we've had a young team, so we're not really used to the inconsistencies of them as a more of a veteran team that we've had, right? So Magoon had a great game against Fresno State, and then he kind of had a bad game. He's still learning too. So if he can become more consistent, that's going to change the whole dynamic of the offense, and then Miles played well. Miles Heide, I mean, with that dunk, and he did that when he blocked that one in front of us. I don't know. I can't remember if they called it a block or not, but that was sweet. Like, that was right.
Yeah, met him at the rim.
Yeah. But the whole, I'm really I feel that Taj is going to be something very special. There's something there that is just, I mean, you can see it's him, Bird, and Boyd are the ones usually bringing the ball down, or BJ, depends on who in there, right? So though, as a freshman, he's in there and he's getting a good amount of time bringing the ball down and kind of running it. They believe in him, and I expect him to have a couple games coming up that are going to be like, oh, okay, all right, there he is.
You look at Nevada, and they don't have a true point guard. They've got big guards, but they really love to have a couple of our guys on that team, to kind of round out their roster. We are blessed with the talent at the guard position on this team, with how quick they are, how good they are at handling the ball, and now you bring in a true freshman, in Taj DeGorville, that he's playing with so much more confidence, and it's continuing to grow. He continues to get more confidence in that outside shot. We've always praised him about his passing abilities and his vision, but then his ability to defend multiple positions, rebound. We've got a lot of talent at the guard position, and we should be excited, about the next couple of months, that we get to see these guys play.
Oh yeah. Interesting times coming up. Guys, want to take this brief moment, of course, just to let you guys get a chance to go over to sonsofmontezuma.com, 50% off on all of our non-NIL items, and simply use the promo code MONTY at checkout, Monty. And of course, let's see. I want to give some love. Mike gave some awesome love, because it was a good week for Aztec basketball in general. So if you guys were paying attention earlier in the day, the women's team were playing the top rated UNLV in the conference, and let's take a little peek at what happened.
Jeffy with 2.2. Yes, good! The Aztecs have won it!
Another buzzer beater? Seriously? It is what it is.
right? And that's a W for the women. 3.2 seconds left. The inbound to Sheffy. Left-handed dribble drive. The off-balance floater to beat UNLV for the first time in a long time. UNLV is a very good team. Hey, we were just better today. Big win for the women. Something special going on down there with these women and Coach Hudson. I mean, unbelievable. They're doing a great job. Get down there and support them. We love our ladies. Let's keep it going. Go Aztecs.
Hey, Mike going hard in the paint again, dude. Thank you for doing that for the ladies. That was a big win. They needed that. They needed that bad. Coach Stacy was saying they had been slumping lately, of course, and you're just so happy for the girls to kind of get that off of their back because they've been losing to UNLV. They hadn't beaten them in a little while, so to get it in that ways at home, very cool, very cool.
That's 2 buzzer beaters in the week, both by USD transfers.
Yeah,
thank you.
McKinney.
Thanks, USD. No, that was fun, man. I mean, for them to get that, to win it on the buzzer like that, I mean, that's cool. It seemed like it was a pretty good crowd too. Seems like there was a good amount of people there for that game. So that's awesome. Good for them.
So yeah, good week for Aztec basketball as a whole. Kind of going back to everything we've been talking about with the young guys, and of course, like I said before, nobody's taking advantage of their opportunity more than Taj, right? Because he wouldn't really get these many minutes if it weren't for the injuries, right? And so, that win against Houston that's something that everybody's been talking about. Of course, they take down Kansas in a double overtime. Were you guys watching that before our game, right? I mean, Fiend, I'm sure you were thrilled on that.
Unbelievable. What in overtime there to come back. I think they were down like 6, something like that, late in the game, and to get that steal, hit that 3, and then just fantastic win on the road at Allen Fieldhouse. They have not lost since they lost to us, which is just making our win against them amazing. Yeah, no, they haven't lost. I think they're undefeated. They're undefeated in Big 12 play, and they have not lost since they've lost the Aztecs. And now looking back on it, it was really special to be there in person and be cheering them on, at the tournament in Vegas. And John Rothstein, everyone is saying that win is going to carry all the way to Selection Sunday. And so as long as we don't slip up here and we don't lose these quad 4 games coming up against Wyoming and San Jose State, and we just take care of business, you can afford to maybe lose a quad 1 on the road to Utah State or something like that, but just continue to take care of business, and the at-large bid is going to take care of itself.
That is crazy. That's a crazy stat.
I'd like to win the conference regular season title first.
I'd love that.
I'm not worried about I'm worried about San Jose State and getting towards that conference championship.
That's how you do it, one game at a time, Mike.
That's all you can do.
One game at a time. That's how you lock up the at-large bid.
That's all you can do. Hey, you know what I was thinking about, dude? I just thought of this. Because Taj banked in that 3 early in the game, and I was like, oh, the bank's open. I wonder how many, and we'll never know. I mean, maybe somebody will know. How many games has a shot been made via the backboard and they won that game compared to how much they lost that game? It's just amusing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
So you shoot it and it goes off the backboard and goes in instead of just right in, right?
So you're talking about a bank 3.
A bank 3.
Like a shot that you normally,
bank.
I mean, not like a layup or something like that. Like a shot that you normally would not bank in. Like no one intends to bank in a 3, or at least they're not going to admit that they were not intending to bank it. Is that what you're talking about?
Let's roll back a little bit.
Okay.
So Taj made a bank shot 3.
Right.
So then my question is, I wonder how many times we'll say how many times someone's made a banked 3 and won the game compared to lost the game. That's something for a different pod. I just thought about it.
Question, but
we're
talking just college basketball, right? We're not talking
college
Aztecs and
just
Taj has made a couple of bank 3s this year. That's not the first one. So I would like to really grill him, put him on the spot, say, hey, is that you doing that on purpose, or is that is that just happened by chance? So
That's
I
a
don't know,
tough. That'd be a tough stat to figure
I
out,
think
dude.
I think it'd be more tough to bank it in than just to shoot it in. Personally, I don't know if I'm using the correct verb or not, so excuse me. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyways, hey, by the way, next year you guys are coming up. Last year we played Nevada up here. You guys have to come up here. We have to do a little get together and gather.
okay, deal.
I met some people at the wall across the street. There's cool people that I met were state fans.
Was that the ones that I told you about from the Facebook?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
the little
that's-
Waldorf.
Yeah, I took
Very
that
cool.
picture of them. Yeah, they were really nice.
Yeah.
I met some other people, and I saw some of the guys from that were like you would know them from the show. I'll show them your picture. I'll show you their picture next time. But they were there. I recognize them from the show. So right around
Nice.
kind of
Good.
your time. But
It's always fun, man, to meet
it was fun.
people on the road, who are Aztec fans. It's different than meeting them at home, in the home venue.
Yeah, it was fun. But we'll have to do something for next year for the last game up here.
Absolutely.
Ooh, it might be the last one. Might be the last one in a long while too. I don't know.
Make my Chicago deep dish pizza and try not to scrape up your pan this year or next year.
Well, I mean, you come up
The
next year.
cast iron skillet.
Yeah, you come up here next year. You might have to talk to my wife before she lets you in the house, dude.
Okay.
What is this, Michael? I didn't make the pizza, babe. So I don't.
Fiend just moving in, just putting his feet all up on the couch.
Here, leaving his clothes.
Hey, you said
here.
make yourself comfortable, so I did.
No, you did. Man, that's what I love about that's my my house is your house and stuff. So you come in and just go in the pantry and grab food. That's what we're here for. So, but great win. Great 2 road wins this week for our guys. Amazing. So I'm with you. I was not expecting that Nevada game to go that way. I knew they were having some trouble, even though they're older, but it's Nevada up here. They tend to play us hard, but
hey, tell me, you're there. You're there. What did you feel like the sentiment is around there concerning the team? I mean, it obviously wasn't a packed house. They're having a down year, like you mentioned, the leadership. But what's the vibe there for Coach Alfred and all that?
Totally exact opposite of what we felt with last year when we were up there.
Yeah.
Just think of how much that energy, whatever you want to call it, there was nothing, man. Like there was nothing there that I was like, it was not really, it just wasn't there.
They had a better team last year. They had Jared Lucas. He was there at the game, right?
Yeah, he was there, but like it just
did he fall down?
No. No. But plus it was snowing, and the team is just not very good this year. They're not very good, so it wasn't very full. And a lot of people left like midway through the second half, and it didn't feel like anything.
No momentum.
And it's so surprising because they were off to a great start, like 6-1 or something like that. They were 30s Kempom or in the net.
They started hot, man.
Really, really high. Yeah, and it was like when the bats left there, then their winning left and the fans left too, I guess. But
there's no more bats in the Belfry. Yeah, it's just it was different, man. I don't know how to explain it. I just didn't. I was watching the game and I'm like, I don't feel. There's certain games you just like. You feel like an energy and you can feel it building up, and then you're like, shit. That never crossed my palate at all with them trying to make a run. It just wasn't there, and something's going on up there. I don't know what the chemistry is like. Noodles was intense.
He's always intense.
Yeah, he's always intense. And Alfred just looks like a vampire. He doesn't look like he's aging, dude. He's like Mel Kiper, right? He could be 75 years old, and he just looks like he's 40. He looks great, but it was weird. It was different. It was different than last year. It was different from the year before. And I don't know, but our guys came in, got a nice win, said what's up to McKinney and Boyd.
They dapped you up.
Yeah, Nick did. Yeah, he gave me a hug, man. I was like, okay, cool. And then Wayne was like, I'm like, hey, man, San Diego. And he's like, oh, okay. But so, and then I initially sat in the wrong seats, and I sat in front of the Nevada Nevada warm-ups. I should have sat in front of the state ones because that's where my seats was. But I was all confused. But whatever.
You got a
But it
nice
was,
photo of their pants, though.
yeah, I mean, hey, I'm just trying.
those pants are killing me, dude.
Yeah, it's like they're
Striped.
You know
old
what's
school.
funny is like those. So Alfred went to Indiana. In Indiana, they wear the same pants, but obviously it's white and red. But he just brought that tradition over to Reno, I guess. But yeah,
okay.
they look like a clown show in those.
They're ugly. Like, don't go red or gray and blue. Go white and blue or something. You know, it just doesn't. The gray just doesn't sit. And then they come out and their jerseys are all white. So it's like, whatever, dude. But hey, man, we played them last game of the year. We'll see what happens there. But if we can get through San Jose State and Wyoming and get a little time off,
Yeah.
Get ready.
then we're kind of where we want to be based on where we have been.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so this is consistency. This team is good. Everyone's like, oh, how is this team? I'm like, they're good. They're young. They're athletic, but they're just got to be a little more consistent, and that you can see it happens. And then UNLV, I mean, that was a head. I didn't watch that game. That's why I didn't join you guys because I was making chocolate with my wife for her birthday. But they didn't. You lose that game, and then UNLV goes and loses the next 2 or 3, right, in a row. So it's kind of baffling. But if they can straighten it out and get rolling here, get hot at the right time.
I
And
feel
if
like
you can-
UNLV is kind of like us in that sense, though. Real
A
young
little bit.
team. And boy, they played New Mexico down to the wire. They had a chance. Deedon missed a free throw.
Yeah, they're getting better. They're a tougher team for sure. And that last stretch we have at the end of the season, when we obviously we're just looking in the near future, but down the road, we've got some really tough games on the road there that we're going to have to play really, really sharp. But you know, these next couple of games, you like to not just get a win like we did over Air Force, but you like to put away these teams, you know, by a big margin like we did against Nevada. Because when you look at the metrics, when you look at KenPom, we went from 46 to 37, catapulted in the metrics there. And then in the net rankings, we catapulted again 47 to 41. And so that's really huge. You know, some people downplay it. I know that, you know, we want to win a conference championship first, but those metrics do matter for seeding and all of that in the future. So just you want to get a win, but if we can really start playing great on both ends of the floor like we did in this game and put together a solid 40 minutes, we're really gonna, I think, even shoot up more in those rankings.
The team is going to keep molding themselves into what they need to be. I think, you know, this team is going to go where, as far as Miles Bird can lead them, as long as everybody else can kind of do what they did, you know, find their role, find their niche, whether it's Heidi getting offensive boards, whether it's, you know, Goon staying out of foul trouble, but being that enforcer, and then being that finisher, you know, that finisher at the rim. And, you know, everybody's got a different role in this team. I know they're still defining them. I see a lot of the chatter, but I think kind of to tie a bow on where this team is right now, like you guys said, the guard play is something that, you know, a lot of guys can handle the ball, bring it up. A lot of guys have the ability to get assists and run the offense well. It's just you know, just got to find what's really going to be there towards the end of the year. And you know, guys are growing.
Totally agree with you. And I think Nick Boyd and Miles Bird, because of how much they have the ball in their hands, their decision making is going to be so crucial to our success moving forward on the offensive end. Certainly, you look at Nick Boyd. Now, I just want to throw out some other stats that I pulled up here. This is pretty eye opening. Nick Boyd, when his assist percentage is under 10%, we have lost 4 of the 5 games. So against UNLV, Utah State, Oregon, and Gonzaga, his assist percentage was like set around 7% or 6%, which is very low. He averages 23.9%. And then New Mexico was sort of an anomaly. But every other game that he's had a very high assist percentage, we've won. So, like I said, the decision making of Boyd and Bird, since they have the ball in their hands, if they make good decisions with the ball, I think we're a very, very tough team to beat. And so there's a lot of pressure on those guys, because they have the ball in their hands the most to make those good decisions, find their teammates, take good shots, open shots, not so far from the basket. Those two guys are going to be our leaders and could really I think they could take us far into March.
Yeah.
If they're doing that and making the right decisions.
A note, Miles Bird became the first Aztec since at least 96-97 season when he had 9 assists, 3 steals, and a block in the game. So, I mean, he's a two-way player. We've talked about it all along, but it's those assists, like what you're saying, be able to
Boyd,
move
6
the ball.
assists, 0 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. We didn't turn the ball over in the second half, and that's why, we ran away with it.
Real quick in the chat, I see a couple questions in here. Let's get them in. Hey guys, what are our biggest risks? This is from Steve Diego. What are our biggest risks with San Jose State and Wyoming? Are there any matchup issues that are a concern? We do need to get to the line more and dominate the boards. And that this game against Nevada, like we said a little earlier, not many free throw attempts at all. I think only 8. But these are home games coming up, and lower. Of course, they have the ability to beat anybody, as we saw with Wyoming. But they are sneaky teams. I don't know much about San Jose State and Wyoming. We've already seen. I don't think San Jose State has anybody. I mean, they did pull off the victory against New Mexico, so they are capable. Everybody's capable.
And I think, sorry to interrupt you, I think that's what we need to look at before we dig deep into the teams, which, we can, but I think the Air Force game shows you anything can happen. I think the fact that San Jose State beat New Mexico, you better take them seriously. They beat New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be some other, Wyoming beat Colorado State. So this is, like you guys were saying in the pause ago, you got to show up, show out, play your game, or you're going to get beat. All these teams are capable of beating any other team. I don't care what the stat. Look at Air Force, almost beat us. So you have to worry about just playing your game. Don't get complacent. Play smart basketball. Try and learn why you're winning these next 2 games, because then you have a week off to get a little bit healthy, get a little more practice together, get some more tape on. I mean, you guys know how I feel about threes. You live by the threes, you die by the threes. We saw that with UNLV. So, and then we saw this game. So, it's, the fact that we hit late threes in the game kind of didn't allow them to get any closer. We had a couple threes there at the late that just kind of put them away. So, this is a good opportunity to get 2 home games, get a week off, and then you hit the stretch for the last 8 games of the season. These are big games for us, man. This is big learning, teaching, playing well, playing good basketball. Because you can't listen, man. If you win 2 road games, one by the fashion of winning at the buzzer, and then you dismantle a team at home, quite frankly, and you come back and lay an egg, then you're like, all right, hold on a second, dude. Which I don't expect them to do, but the inconsistencies scare me a little bit about. They play well against the last 2 games are a perfect example of it. So that's what I want. I want to get more consistent, play well, get some more time together, and then play with a little urgency.
And you're going to get that with a young team.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this in the podcast about, Dutch is a player's coach. So he is going to let these guys, make mistakes and kind of self-select in to playing winning team basketball. I mean, they're going to guide them along the way, but he's not going to beat them down and rub their face in the dirt when they're, when they make mistakes. And so that approach, it's a very empowering approach, right? Because there's buy-in by the players, but it takes longer to see that change than you would see from a guy like maybe Mick Cronin, who just berates all of his players in the press conferences, about what they're doing wrong, and so yeah, you're going to see guys that there's going to be some regression at times. It's not going to be it's not a straight line, it's never linear. It's up and down. And so and you never know when the down is going to happen. You don't know when the up's going to happen. But I have to think that this team is going to keep moving upward on a trend as we go towards February and into March.
So to answer the question a little bit, guys, I don't think it's necessarily what San Jose State and Wyoming does. It's more about ourselves, what we do in these games. They've got to play their game. To answer the question a little bit, San Jose State, the only guy I really see, Robert Viola, their center, 6'8",
yeah, he's a big dude.
He's a load. He's a load,
Yeah.
260 pounds. He transferred in from Fresno State and redshirted last year. He was a force against New Mexico in that game. So that would be the one guy that I would just
Josh Leduce, he's a guy that we were sort of recruiting, right, for that last spot. That sort of that small forward spot. Will McClendon, the transfer from UCLA. I mean, they have good guard play. They don't turn the ball over a lot. Their coach, they have a good coach. And both San Jose State and Wyoming, they do a really good job of moving the basketball, move. And so they're going to get back cuts. They're going to get, that's how they create their open looks. And we're more of a pick and roll offense. We don't usually move it as much. I mean, there's constant movement, in those systems. And so making sure that we're closing out, we're switching, we're communicating, things like that on defense are going to be really, really important. On the offensive end, I think we just need to play like we played against Nevada, and we're good. If we're just playing hero ball and we're dribbling, over dribbling, and not, finding teammates and not taking good shots, I mean, that's where we can get into trouble, and we've seen that we can get into trouble. So these are by no means gimme games. We know that from playing Air Force, and Wyoming is they're better than I thought they would be coming into the season. And they've got a guy named Agbum who is very talented. He may be a guy that you could replace on the first team all conference from the guys who are underperforming that were on the preseason team. He's a really good player, great shooter that they've brought in. So we're going to have to defend him well. And, but we're playing at home. We should win these games. Bottom line.
Yes. Okay, guys, I feel like it's something we've kind of mentioned about already, but thank you for the super from Quinn Thomas. I got to put him in front of the line right there, guys. You guys could get your supers in here. He says, what makes no sense to me is more of a comment, right? What makes no sense to me is how y'all can beat a Houston and Creighton, but lose to Utah State at home and lose to UNLV. Thank you, Quinn, for that super. $9.99 sounds fine. Appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we've kind of addressed these things all throughout the episode here, just as far as the learning process, the youth on this team. That Utah State, that game is going to sting for the whole season. It's going to sting. It's going to be that thorn in the side all year that we're going to have to deal with. And
the UNLV game is going to be
Utah State game. Utah State game. I mean, we were up by almost. Well, of course, yeah. I'm not saying both weren't. I'm just saying Utah State. We were up by what? 18-point lead. 18-point lead at home. UNLV, another one at home. But what do you do? What do you say to that?
It's the inconsistencies. I mean, to me, the Utah State was the inconsistencies and not being able to close out the game. New Mexico, we just got beat. New Mexico just took us to the woodshed. I mean, there's nothing else you can say about that. But the UNLV game, I didn't see it, but I heard the shot selection was the greatest. So that plays a full into it too. So, if you clean those things up, it's a different issue each game. It's not the same issue in those three losses for the most part, the 30,000 foot view. So then you come back and you win 2 on the road. So let's string 5 or 6 together. because that's what we got to do. I mean, we're going to lose one at some point here. I mean, let's just be honest. We're not going to, well, shit, if we go win out, we're going to win it. But you got to think there's a couple there. I mean, if you can take care of the bottom of the conference, right? You got 2 against Air Force, you've already won. If you could beat San Jose State twice, Fresno State twice, you can beat Nevada twice and Wyoming twice. You know what I mean? Then you're looking at there's what, 10 wins right there. So that's half of the conference right there. So, and then go 1-1 the way out. But this is a good chance, man. You got to win these 2 at home and then take that break seriously and then just get going. 2 at home, 2 on the road, 2 on the home, and then bang, bang, bang on the way out.
So
I'd love to hear what Quinn thinks. His explanation. You're asking the question. I know. Hey, you want to hear it from us, but I'm actually curious to hear.
Here's my response to that. I think we need to accept that we have been complacent, and we tend to play up to competition and play down to competition. We've seen that this year. And we had a whole week to prepare for Creighton and Houston at that tournament. Money's on the line. It's an NIL tournament. You want to show the nation that you're for real. And we came out and we played awesome. And we played up to the competition. And then going into the, season, the conference season, I think we got a little complacent. And maybe we thought we were a little better than we were. And there's I think in Ziegler's article he talked about, or I don't know Ziegler, but it was Magoon. He had some quotes saying that he's had a tendency to not be locked in all the time, and that he just kind of loses focus and stuff. And so now he's trying to make a concerted effort to be more focused, and so that takes time, that takes discipline. And you got to go through those growing pains to learn, hey, you can't just, like I said, show up and get a win by the name on your chest. You got to go out and earn it every single game.
Yeah, I like all those points, especially the focus. I think bringing when the time they do bring in Ferrari, it shakes things up, right?
Yeah.
Kind of rattles the cage a little bit, rattles the team up a little bit. Oh, this is very different and unexpected, even if it's just for 2 minutes. Like the Nevada game, he's only in there for less than 3 minutes, but he hit the 3, kind of changed up that energy. Okay, refocus again, go attack. Take better shot selection. Quinn, thank you for responding. He says, I think y'all need to find a way to get more consistent offense for sure. Winning games, scoring only 60 to 70 most games is hard. And also, I think that feeds into our defense. We're a grinded out defensive team. If you're winding the clock down offensively as well, those possessions, we're not exactly getting fast breaks every single offensive possession. I know they want to run a little more.
Well, I think it's a product too of our defensive first mentality, and the fact that we have a history of rewarding players on the offensive end to be creative and if they play defense. So you play defense, then you can kind of do what you want on the offensive end. Us efficiency, purists would love to see it on both ends. But it's like I said, it's a matter of self-selecting in. You want to win, you got to play great on both ends of the floor, and that entails learning how to do that. And so, yeah, I'd love to see us score more than 60 something, 70 points, get in the 80s and 90s. It'd be great. I don't think we would get there because of the pace that we play, and a lot of our shots are not coming until the last 10 seconds of the shot clock, and some of that has to do with the pace of our play and just like how quickly we're getting into sets and moving and moving the ball to get shots. So that has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's our game.
Yeah.
So the question is interesting. So I not to be rude, I'm just curious if he's seen the games or if he's just going off the schedule. But we've only held the only team that scored 80 points against us this year is Gonzaga, and they beat us. Everybody else is in the 70s or 60s. So that's the 60s or 70s is typically our game. 70s we win more often than not. 60s, that's kind of where we're high 60s, low 70s. So,
dude, I would love to win games 100 to 60.
Yeah,
100 to 70. I mean, but that takes 40 minutes of locked in on both ends of the floor. And we have yet, I think, to see that game yet. We've had halves that have been, pretty close to that, but I don't think we've seen a full 40 minutes of that.
Really quickly, Dummy Fire says, I feel like Kruger's sitting on the hot seat at UNLV. I don't think he can afford too many more losses or his tenure will be over. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, he is kind of a legacy hire there. He's an alum, and of course his father was coach there as well. But it's a results-based business.
If you listen to if you listen to Rebel Girl or Robert Rebel, those people on social media, I mean, they all want him fired. No, I mean, there's a lot of people grumblings about. Look, they have not been. When's the last time they've been to the tournament? It's been over 10 years, right? They can't even get out. They can't even get out of the quarterfinal of the Mountain West tournament in their own building.
Don't care.
So, I mean, they've just recycled coaches, and it just seems like they go through these coaches and they can't find that success where they break through and are at the top of the Mountain West like they did when Jamal Franklin was there. Remember, and he was saying that UNLV, it was such a great rivalry. And during that interview, it was like, hey, man, I hate to break it to you, but, it's not the same UNLV. Now, hey, we can't talk because we lost to them, right, this year. So they got one on us. But I think some of these, there's a lot of people who are upset, with just the lack of postseason success because they've had the history there with Tarkanian and national championship and Final Fours. That's the standard that the fans want, just like we have an expectation, right? We have an expectation to be in the tournament every year. We're not hanging CBI banners. We want to be in the tournament, Sweet 16s, get to Final Fours now. We've done it. We've tasted it. We want to do it again. That is the standard. And when you have that, a program like that you don't tolerate losing.
All right, Fiend. Slow down. Slow your roll, dude.
Don't pull out the 9.
Quinn, thank you, man. For example, Auburn has a half-court offense this season, but we are very efficient, and we have a super efficient defense. Y'all need more shot makers. I've watched
CBM.
Congratulations, CBM.
You're welcome. We gave you CBM.
Yeah. Boy.
So, no, we definitely miss him. Yeah, he's great player. No, I mean, Bruce Pearl's an awesome coach. I mean, and he's right. And you look at the gauntlet that they have to run in the Southeast Conference. All those teams, there's probably going to be at least 12 teams that get into the tournament this year. I mean, that's a big reason why Lamont went to Kentucky. I mean, yes, some of the NIL was a consideration, but playing that top level night in and night out, iron sharpens iron. And so,
take it back, Fiend. Take it back.
I'm just saying, but you gotta beat Yale first in the tournament.
Oh shit! Hey, yeah, I mean, come on, man. You guys are good. You're the number 1 team in the country for a reason, right? So
no, I think they're the national title. Yeah, they're national title contenders.
So congrats,
absolutely,
man. I mean, good for you.
And you know what? Losing to Yale might have been the best thing that happened to them because they came back. Everyone, wanted to come back and they had something to prove. And this is their year. So, congrats to Quinn. They are legit. Auburn is legit and probably the favorite to win the national title.
I mean, only one of us has been in the national title game lately, so.
All right, everybody getting their gloves, boy, taking the gloves off. Thomas, thank you, man. He says, our ceiling is capped because you can't shut everyone down else in the NCAA.
Saying ours is.
Right.
Okay.
Right. It's interesting. It's interesting.
It's early.
On paper, you can
see
we have
Auburn beat Houston. I mean, after they had a big fight on their airplane. But sorry, I'm pulling out all the punches here. No, but hey, like I said, we play up to our competition. So, we just need to take care of business, get through the Mountain West, get to the NCAA tournament, and then hey, it's anyone's game. I don't care. Look at Alabama last year or 2 years ago, right? number 1 seed. Everyone said, "Oh, they're cutting down the nets," and they had efficient offense, defense. I mean, they just great team, and we shut them down in the Sweet 16. So,
All right, Mike, how many teams will the Mountain West send to the tourney this year?
We do an over under, or do you want a specific number?
I don't know. How many teams do you think?
I think there's going to be 3.
3? Really? 3?
Yeah, I think there's going to be 3.
3 teams?
Yeah, if I was going to, as of right now, I think 3. Could change.
I think 2. I think we're.
I think it's more. I think it's more likely to be 2.
I mean, hey, 4. I see 4 being guessed. 4
No.
teams. I mean that's tough. That's tough to imagine right now. Okay, we got another vote for 4. Christopher 4. That's wishful thinking. I think that'd be great, though. I mean, that would be amazing.
I think we would have gotten 4 if the teams had. And
not
this is
cannibalize each other a little
everyone.
bit.
And no, this is everyone in the conference not named San Diego State and Utah State. If everyone had taken care of business in the non-conference and won their games, then it just rises everyone's boats and we get more people into the tournament. But I don't think, because of how poorly some of these teams played in the non-con, I think that reduces the number of teams that we get in the tournament.
Okay. All right. Whew. Well, we are at that point where things are going to start getting real. February. We're on the cusp of February, and then we all know what's coming up, March, and that's when the madness begins. But the journey is still at hand. The team is still learning to fly. And we've got a fun week coming up. Tuesday, San Jose State. I want to say 7 o'clock, or is that an 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
Oh, it's a late one. Oh, boy. All right, Quinn. Hey, man. Making it rain.
He started.
Quinn, he's making it rain. CBM is our second best player. Okay, we got Auburn is in the house.
Yeah. Hey, Quinn, we're just playing with you, man. I mean, we appreciate the supers and just a little, friendly banter back and forth here, man. That's what we do. And you got a great player in CBM. It's a shame it didn't work out here. We loved him when he was here, his energy, and he had games where he just absolutely took over, the game. Just didn't work out here. He bounced back to Auburn, got a great situation there. Plus, you probably have one of the national players of the year in Janai Broom, and then you have a bunch of other guys who, fill in nicely, and just Bruce Pearl has that team playing really, really good basketball.
He says
team ball.
He says CBM is our Swiss Army knife. He hopes we go far, honestly, and didn't mean to turn this into a talking trash session. No, it's not like Fiend says. It's all good. It's all love. He's a big CBM guy.
Hey, somebody read your articles, Fiend. There you go. But hey, here's real quick. New Mexico has Utah State 2 of the next 5 games, and then they have Colorado State 2, and then they have us. Right? Utah State has to play, obviously, New Mexico 2 of the next 5 games. But then they have Colorado State, they have UNLV here, and then they have So, I mean, this is what I think 4 or 5 games is going to win the conference. I think that's the number right there. So, like I said, just get home, get comfortable, get 2 dubs, get a little time off. Come see us up in Fort Collins in 2 weeks.
Looking forward to it.
Can't wait.
I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to give you your surprise.
Oh no!
I'm excited to see your reaction to it.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
I mean, I might now that I think about it.
Now I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, I think I might have to do something with Matt too. Now I think I'm going to.
I don't know what we're talking about.
we'll find out at the airport in Denver.
The worst airport in the entire country.
The satanic one with the tunnels underneath and the baggage.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, with the fiery apocalypse horse that's
Yeah.
outside. Like, good Lord.
But
Oh,
hey,
boy.
good wins on the road. Good to see the guys up here. Good to be back with you guys after a week of gymnastics. So big game.
Daddy duty. Daddy duty, man. Appreciate you making some time for us. And all Aztec Nation.
No, it just didn't. I know I give you guys a hard time. It just didn't line up last week, man. It just didn't line up for me. So, I want to be here, but sometimes I can't.
Okay, guys, before we sign off, who do you guys got in the Super Bowl? Kansas City? Philly? Fiend, who you got?
I think I would have to go with, I'm going to roll with our guy Ariza. I'm going to roll with the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think that's a pretty good vote. Mike, you got any preference?
I think I'm with everybody in America that's outside of Kansas City that they do not want to see the Chiefs win. Like I was watching the game, and I know, like, listen, I don't care what anybody says. There's some strange anomalies when there's penalties with the Chiefs. It just is. Yeah. When that last play, when what's his name? I think Kincaid or Knox dropped the ball. There was a flag, and it showed the flag. I was like, what happened to the flag? Where's the flag? What was the flag for? And they pulled it. They picked it up. Did you see that? So here's my thing with that. That there's a strangeness. You can look it up. The Chiefs cannot stop the run game. They are great when it comes to passing, but they can't stop the run game. Look what Cook did to them.
That could be a problem.
Saquon Barkley is playing at a level that he is. This is like LT in 2006 level playing. I mean, he might be arguably one of the greatest free agent signings in the history of the NFL if they go on to win the Super Bowl in the year he had. Yep. But they're going to have a real hard time stopping him. So I think I'm going to take the Eagles.
They pride themselves on pounding the rock.
I think they will be favored in that game. I think
the Chiefs are 1.5 point favorites.
Are they really?
I think that's what I read.
That's close.
But I think they're going to have a tough time starting Barkley. He just looks clean. He looks crisp. Now, weird things could happen in the Super Bowl, right? Somebody get hurt, knock on wood. Nobody does. But
brotherly tush push.
He just looked fine. And Jalen Hurts, if he gets 2 weeks healthy and he can run the ball too, they're going to. They ran for 7 touchdowns today. That's what they playoffs. So the Chiefs have a hard time controlling that. So if they can get out, and I really like Saquon Barkley's game. He looks great, man. So
good point, Mike.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm Matt Ariza, all in. Let's go. Let's get it done.
Good for him, though, dude. Yeah. Hey, full circle moment for him.
To everything he's been through,
the bullshit he had to go through and to come back and be able to get this opportunity. That's just, hey, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and if not, he'll have more opportunities because that Chiefs team they're a great one. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this evening on this Sunday night. Make sure you guys are checking out sonsofmontezuma.com, all your NIL shop items there, and of course our unique merch there, MONTY at checkout for 15% off. And thank you guys for joining the chat. Make sure you guys follow us. Give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. If you're not following us on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, I'll be posting up hopefully a video of some of Mike's travels, or in his own backyard, but some of his views there at the game and some of our watch party antics as well. So find us there, Instagram, all that good stuff. Guys, thank you for joining. Thank you for giving us our time. Tuesday night, San Jose State, 7:40 tip-off, FS1, Aztecs and the Spartans. Don't know what the line is right now, but let's get it done. Go Aztecs. 3 in a row. Let's do it.
All right. Go Aztecs. Thanks, Quinn, for the supers. Good luck to Auburn and the SEC. You guys are legit for real. Let's get this dub on Tuesday.
Big win. Big road wins. 2 at home. Let's go Aztecs.
All right, everybody. Have a good night. Go Aztecs.
Peace. Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.